So please. So, thank you all for coming out. I know it's like the week after.
This is so awesome.
The week after the time change and everybody's exhausted. And there's a little thing called basketball in North Carolina here.
Bouncy, bouncy.
Yeah, who cares?
But I'm so excited. I had a busy weekend, so I didn't have time to read the book over the weekend. So I stayed home today from work and I read this book and I didn't want to get out of it. I came in and I was like, don't talk to me. I'm still in this mode. It is so good and so fascinating. Pay attention.
I am a document.
This is
Renee knows the answer. Yes, yes.
This is Bren McClain, and her book is One Good Mama Bone. I met you at SIBA in Savannah last year, and I was like, wow, interesting. But so I've had this book for 6 months.
Yes.
So, but I like to read it right before I meet.
Oh, I love that. And when I came in, I was taking a photo out there, the little chalkboard and all this kind of stuff, and I walked in and so it was just, I just reading your book and I love it. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. The reception that I received.
Yeah, I hope you all read it. You know what, like, as a mom, you always think like you're not doing good enough. You're not, you never think you're enough. And this is a book that kind of describes that, but in a completely different way. Can you tell us a little brief description about
What the book is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the book
why
is,
they want to buy it?
yeah.
Because it's great.
It's set in the early 50s in my hometown of Anderson, South Carolina. It's about a very poor, and I mean dirt poor, woman named Sarah Creamer, who doesn't feel she has a mama bone, that is, mothering instinct. And when you read the book, you understand why. But she's thrust into this world to take care of her husband's illegitimate son after he drinks himself to death when he can't live with what he's done. And so it's what Sarah Creamer does to earn out, I guess you might say, her mama bone. And it comes with the help of a mother cow who comes to live on her land. All of this is set against the backdrop of the 4-H experience. Anybody know that? The whole, you get a steer and you feed them out, blah, 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 blah. But it's her relationship with Mama Red that forms the core of the novel. And Sarah actually confides in her, and it's what she learns from Mama Red.
That was probably some of my favorite writings there.
That is my favorite.
She was like confessing to this cow.
Yes.
But there's some similarities between the cow and her son.
You are amazing. Yes. Yes.
Why am I amazing?
Yeah, because your insight into the book, there are a lot of similarities between Mama Red's cow and Emerson Bridge.
And I don't finish the book because I don't like to give away the ending. But I love the cow. If you've ever not known about cows, cows are they love, and they love fiercely. Yes. And this cow got through the fence, completely tore up its body through the barbed wire, completely bloody, and walked 4 miles in the middle of the night to get back to her cow.
Yes.
Because they sold the cow. And it's just amazing, that love for your child that,
and that really happened. A lot of the research in the novel came from my daddy, and I grew up on a beef cattle farm in Anderson. And Daddy actually told me about a mother cow who did that. Her calf was taken away and broke through a barbed wire fence after a certain amount of time, because it takes some force, and then found her calf through, Daddy thinks, through sounds. Because at night sounds, because they're both calling for each other. And so that's what happens in my novel. Mama Red actually breaks out of a barbed wire fence and comes for her.
4 miles.
4 miles in the dark and comes for her baby.
Are you a vegetarian?
Yes.
Because after reading this book, I'm like, I'm never having a sandwich like that again.
So I had a reviewer on Goodreads last week as a matter of fact, who said, I believe I'm going to be vegan at least for a while. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things I'm finding that people are kind of talking about. They're seeing cows. We all adore dogs and cats and horses, but I think in a certain way this book is asking us to think about cows.
And I'd heard that before. I used to work with a lady who owned a cow farm, and she said one died and the whole herd would cry and whine, and just, it's kind of horrifying. They have feelings.
Yeah, they have feelings.
Yeah. So can you describe Sarah to us?
Oh, Sarah.
I want to know, is she simple? I think she's very smart, but not educated. And
I love that. I think
Yeah.
you're right. She's smart but not educated, feels amazingly inadequate, you know, kind
Good
of
reason.
like not worthwhile, not worthy. But what I love about Sarah is she always does the right thing.
She does, without question.
Yeah, and she's not one of these people, folks, who thinks, you know, should I have, would I have? You know how some of us, well, me, okay, let's just go here. me. You know, should I, could I, would I, and we kind of lose
Is
sight
somebody going to be mad at me?
of the now, of this now thing. But Sarah doesn't have time for all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She has to stay so focused on the present. And what I have, a reviewer pointed out to me, I wasn't even thinking, that's the same thing cows do.
Yeah.
You know, cows don't, Mama Red's not thinking about should I, could I, would I. They just do what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of business. And that's what Sarah Creamer does, is she takes care of business.
Mm-hmm. So she tried to escape. Her mother was a horrible person. And her dad was so wonderful. Her mom would go across the street to church and leave her without food because she was too fat. Just everything she could do to be mean to the daughter.
Teeny Bell was incredibly mean. That was a mean woman. And somebody asked me who I wanted to play the movie roles. I had to write this blog.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, that was kind of fun. And when I got to Teeny Bell, I said, me. I want to play her. And I want to play her in that wheelchair scene. And I don't know why, but I want to play Teeny Bell. But yeah, Teeny Bell was
She did her hair like a peacock.
Yeah.
And then went across the street to church.
And called herself very holy, you know. She lived in a mill village in Gainesville, Georgia, and every time the church doors were open, Teeny Bell was there.
And she didn't take her family though.
No, but she would not allow Sarah, her little girl, to go. Why? Because Sarah was too fat. And nobody wants to see nobody waddle up the aisles, girl. And you take up too much room on the pews.
Yeah. Horrible.
Horrible.
But her dad took her under his wing.
He
and
did.
Like, as soon as the mom left.
And they whistled,
and
and they played, and
Yes.
they had fun with her dad. Her dad leavened the whole mama stuff.
And unfortunately, the dad died in a
Our
tornado.
tornado blew him away. I'm a former journalist, so I love stuff that's based on the truth, and I do a lot of research, and there was an actual tornado that happened in Gainesville when Sarah's daddy, and it was actually a twin tornado. That two tornadoes are coming at the town.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, two tornadoes. This was April of '36, I think. Two tornadoes are coming at the town, folks, and they join. Can you imagine that kind of force? And then boom, go through the town, and many people were never recovered. And in my fictional mind, Sarah Creamer's daddy was never recovered.
So she meets her husband
Yes.
and sleeps with him on the first date.
Yes.
Or what is it, a date? We don't even know.
Well,
But
yeah.
gets pregnant
Yes.
and goes off and gets married to him, and her mom, the only shred of love that she ever showed her was giving her a hat and gloves and
Hat
said,
and
all
gloves.
ladies.
And that was her attempt.
And wouldn't contact her. She wrote to her. And then she ends up miscarrying the baby.
Yes.
The baby dies.
Yes.
And she never had children again. So,
Right. She thinks that proves my mama bone. I don't have one. It
Yeah.
proves my mother wrong. So all of this kind of is backstory, so that when the novel opens and Sarah has this baby to take care of, she's got so much baggage that says to her, "You are not a mama. You have no mama bone in you." So what kept my butt in the chair working for all of these years through all of these drafts is for Sarah to have the light come on for her.
do you want to read that part that
I do.
explains?
I
I'm
do.
going through the whole thing. I'm like, this is just so beautifully written.
I also
And then
yeah,
you explain why it's called One Good Moment.
mama bone. I was up to read.
Can you?
Oh, and this, do you want me to start here, or where do you want me to
Yeah.
start? How much do you want me to
Right when
read?
she's starting to talk. Is that when she starts talking
Yeah,
to
that's it.
Mama Red?
How much do you want me to read?
What, as long as you want.
All right, so I can't believe you love this too. This is
I
my
love it.
favorite. As a matter of fact, what I'm about to read you is the original. Well, went through many drafts. And what's your name again? Serena. Have you gone through many drafts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, all writing is rewriting. That's according to James Michener. You know, if you think you're just going to write, 300 pages and you're done, honey. No.
Most authors say they throw 80% of their work away.
Yeah, I threw 95% of my work away. And so you have to be ruthless about it. So originally, I wanted the novel to begin here. because it's my favorite part. I can't believe you just
oh my
pulled
God,
that
I
out.
love that.
But people kept saying, no, Brandy, no, I don't know, it's too big a risk because we don't have the context for the story yet. We don't have the context for a woman to be talking to a cow. Because you don't want, like, people start to go, oh my God, a woman's talking to a cow, she's out of her mind. So, just for the record, there's 70 pages of context, people. Okay.
You did it.
I did. So may I stand?
Yes.
And I think the reason I want to stand, I've been finding that I stand when I read this section. I've had other people want me to read this. And I think I want to stand out of reverence for Sarah. I love that woman. And in the many drafts that I wrote to get to this point, I kept trying to get that on the page. People would say, you know, I know you love Sarah and all this kind of stuff, but it's really not on the page. But that's just what I kept working for. And I had a reader the other week tell me that she didn't want the book to end because she did not want to lose Sarah Kramer's heart.
And that's
They didn't want to lose that heart. That's why. And so this is Sarah, my thing. So the cow comes to live on her farm. She's broken out, like we said, through the barbed wire fence. And of course, Sarah goes out and notices and starts to take lessons, if you will, and has gone into her son, Emerson Bridge, who's 7 years old now, and kind of applied, if you will, some of that learning that she's done. So here's Sarah dressing. Hey there. How you doing? Come on. Wine, beer.
Are you a high
Jackie?
Yes.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Cantrell. Jackie Cantrell.
Are you related to Kim?
No.
Who went to elementary?
Elementary all the way. And this is Martha
Walford.
Walford, who was a year ahead of us.
Oh, okay.
Martha Walford. Martha. Lose the R. So I'm just going to start to read a little something, and I've noticed that I'm standing out of deference to Sarah. You done started on your teaching of me with my boy. Can I tell you that, girl? I don't know your name. What's your name? Mine's Sarah. I come back out here to thank you. I'm 6 days now into having to be his mama for long. But can I tell you something? I don't know how to be. I don't mean to be whispering, but them words, be a mama, they scare me. I'm lost. See, if me and you was a long piece of cloth, you'd be on one end with me clear across the whole wide world on the other, trying to hang on to a skinny piece of nothing. Because as good a mama as you are, I'm that. I don't know how to be one. You can sure tell your boy there is. Them two colors on y'all's faces, that pretty red brown and that white, and both of them arranged in that same exact pattern, except his is littler. Like his ears and his forehead is stamped in that red color across the bottom of your face. Like his shadow has fallen on you for all time, so that you won't never leave him. No, ma'am, Mama Red, you don't. Mama Red, can I call you that? See, my boy don't look like me. That's because he's not my flesh and blood. Oh, to say those words out loud. Not another soul that's alive on this earth knows that but me. The two that did are dead. I see you holding your head just as still, listening to me with that good kind of mama way you got. This ain't the first time I seen it. The first time was when I was a girl, 6-year-old. An old mama dog showed it to me. She come across our backyard one afternoon. I spotted her out the kitchen window when I was making some cornbread for Mama before prayer meeting. Get it smooth now, girl, Mama hollered down to me. She was upstairs on her sewing machine. Don't want to see no pones, no big fat pones sticking up out of it. I took off out that screen door after that dog, but I didn't see her nowhere. I wanted to call out, "Hey girl," but I kept quiet. Mama's room was right up over me and her window was open. It was hot in August, right before I started to the first grade. Then I heard this sound like a steady beat from under the house. So I crawled up under it, and there she was. That was her tail I was hearing. She was wagging it, and I believed it was for me. And then her legs went to lifting up, holding them out stiff like broom handles. And she let out this squeal and stretched her head back towards her tail that was all hiked up. And there she come back holding something in her mouth by her teeth and started shaking it hard, like she was mad at it. But she wasn't mad at it. She'd had a puppy, Mama read. She laid it real soft in the dirt and got her tongue and licked it, and then took her nose and tucked in that baby up to her teats so she could get her a good drink. My eyes started filling up in buckets as I watched. She had 4 more of them. I scooted back that way so I could watch. I wanted to see it all. And just like you would, Mama Red, she welcomed every one of them like she was saying to them, "Hey there, I'm your mama, and I think you're good." But then my mama started calling my name. I didn't want to leave, but I knew I had to go. Before I left, I soaked up how still that mama dog was, and that made me get all still too. I whispered to her, "I love you." She held her eyes on me, like I might matter. And then I crawled out, and Mama yanked me to my feet and said, "You ain't got no time to be playing girl." I wasn't, I told her. I was just watching a mama dog have puppies. "Don't you talk back to me," she said, and slapped a fly swatter up against my shoulder. It was sweet, Mama, what I sang. Sweet! It's just having babies. Anything can have babies. That ain't nothing. And you so fat you'd smush them. Then she brought that swatter down and hit me on my arm. It stung some, but not like the words she said to me next. And with every one of them, she timed out a slap. She said, "You ain't got you one good mama bone in you, girl." I felt like a knife had sliced me open, cut part of me out, flung it to the winds. And nobody wants to see no cry, baby, I said. You better learn to carry it, is all I say. Papa come home from the mill that night, and she made him get the dog and puppies and carry him off somewhere. We never did have no more talk about it. But I tell you this now. Mama Red, my mama's words to me was the first stitch on a garment that I would wear for the rest of my born days. And once that stitch got to running, it kept going more and more off seam. I let her words take up housekeeping inside of me. They inside of me now. But I don't want them to be.
Come on. You can say something to a child, and they will carry it for you. Whether you need it offhanded, they take it somewhere else. But it's just beautiful, heartbreaking, and just wonderful.
Thank you.
Sarah, for her to overcome all that and just to be a great mother and to be a good person without like even questioning it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing, like some people can like have that fortitude. Some people can have a great life and complain about a sunny day.
Ah!
And then like some people that,
Like Sarah Kramer,
yeah,
who moves forward.
yeah.
And that's why I kept the butt in the chair, folks, to prove her mama wrong. That's it right there. That's what kept me going for years and years, draft after draft, to prove her mother wrong, to give Sarah Kramer a different kind of narrative.
And she wanted to do everything, so she decided to buy a steer
Right.
for her son because the father had died and he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never occur, like, I'm just going to buy my son a cow. Because they'll be friends and they'll hang out together. I mean, I know it's a different time. I know it's, you're on a farm.
Yes.
But, I mean, it doesn't make sense to most of us, but to her, she was adamant she's going to get this. And
Right.
things were lucky for her. Like, she got the gifts.
Yeah, it did, but the other thing was not just for a child to buddy with, but for the supposed financial reward that could take place. This is 4-H, still goes on today, but in that time, folks, in the early 50s, it was everything in rural America, everything. My daddy was the very first grand champion winner in Anderson, 1941. And so Daddy, in 1941, at age 14, got 300, it's cycled through, you probably have seen the newspaper clipping, $330. That's $5,000 in today's time. And so Sarah sees this as some kind of financial salvation. Little does she know.
They get slaughtered.
Yeah, little does she know what all happened. She's just thinking, oh, I'll get my baby something to buddy with, and we can make some money and survive because her farm's about to be foreclosed on. All they've got to eat is a pear from the tree. And, you know, she cuts it in half for her boy to eat at lunch and then at supper. They're destitute.
Yeah, this is amazing. Tell us a couple other characters. There's Elsie.
Yeah,
Little Elsie.
Little Elsie, and Big Elsie.
Big, yeah.
So Sarah's my protagonist, that is my main character, the heroine, if you will. And then stories need antagonists and villains, and I have one. His name is Luther Dobbins, who is a cattle farmer in Anderson who is like the big shot. In fact, his son Charles has won every grand championship since the McClain boy, and that's a nod to my daddy. I put it, hey, if I'm the writer, I can do that. Yeah. Since the McClain boy won in 1941. But Charles has aged out. He's gone to Clemson College. And now everything falls to Luther's son, Little Elsie, and he has such an ego, he names both of his boys after himself. I mean, unbelievable. But anyway, all of this now has fallen on Little Elsie to kind of carry on. Who's 7. And it's so important to Luther that up his staircase in his fine home in Anderson, he's got these like newspaper cuttings and the the blue ribbon for all of the years that Charles, and Luther tells Little Elsie, you better win. You better win. So he loads up this little boy, 7 years old.
Horrible. But there's a couple passages in here, too, that Elsie knew his dad wasn't a good man. But
Right.
He looked up to him. He wanted him to be.
Right.
And Elsie was a preacher.
Yes.
Yeah. So you kind of go back and forth with that, too, a couple times.
I do.
Sarah's mom and Elsie's dad.
Yeah, I know.
Both very religious.
Very religious.
Both horrible people.
Yes. And you know, people have said, all right, now, Bren, are you saying anything about religion? Somebody asked me that. When I was at
I
that
think you can meet
Conroy.
some really good people in church, and then I think there's people who hide behind it. Oh, well, I go to church, so I'm
Right.
okay.
And so what's interesting to me is a contrast, because I grew up in a Baptist church, New Prospect Baptist Church, very Southern Baptist. I mean, we didn't speak in tongues, but it was very, very conservative. And Sarah's mother did not allow her to go to church, so she's not been what's so-called saved. Is a Southern Baptist religion, what, gosh, the theological seminary is right here. So you all know what I'm talking about when I say, the Southern Baptist religion and being saved, that kind of stuff. Well, Sarah wasn't ever allowed to be saved because her mother never let her go to church. She was too fat. So part of Sarah's quest is, to find salvation. And she does. She finds it outside a church door, though. And I think that's fascinating to think about that. And somebody said, oh, Bren, that's sacrilegious. What you've written is sacrilegious. So it'd be very interesting to see. I haven't had readers have had a problem with it, though. That it was outside the constraints of a church door.
Yeah, no. I thought it made a point, that not everybody's good and not everybody's bad. There's not black and white.
No.
There's gray.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always.
So you're 27 years writing the book? Not this book, but
27 years
the,
writing fiction.
Yes.
Absolutely. This
So
is
you're
the
an overnight success?
Ha! I'm a 27-year overnight success. I know.
That's good. Yeah.
This is
your third novel?
This is my third novel, the first to be published. So you just
don't give up.
You just have to stay at it. If it matters that much to you, if you can walk away, I tell people, walk away. It's way too much trouble. if you can, I mean, but if you can't, then put your butt in the chair and keep going.
How did you find the editing process? Like when you finally got, that we're gonna publish it, did they take away like what you had
No,
envisioned? No?
no, I was very, very lucky because Pat Conroy is my publisher. Does everybody know who Pat Conroy is? Oh my gosh.
No.
He
I read your book, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to get the whole New York stuff, and so you're like, wow, you're way on down the road. I tried to do all of that, but it wasn't working. And in 2013, I just had a sense that, it just wasn't. And so Marley Rusoff, who is Pat Conroy's agent, big time agent, Ron Rash's agent, I mean, she's renowned, was in Spartanburg, South Carolina doing a talk on the state of publishing. And this was in, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Anyway, I went to it. And she goes, oh, New York publishing, everything's changed. I can get Pat Conroy published, I can get Ron Rash published. But my mid-list writers, and mid-list writers are people that write literary fiction that aren't, blockbusters. They just kind of steadily go, steadily go. I can't get them published anymore. New York won't touch them because they're looking for the blockbuster. They're looking for like the sure thing, like Pat and like Ron Rash. So she said, but the good news is there's the rise of the small press. And my ears, I remember going like, And so at the break, I said, like, who are you talking about? And she said, well, my client, Pat Conroy, started his own imprint. And I remembered reading about that. And I went, oh, gosh, yeah. And then she says, and you're standing in a small press right now, Hub City Books in Spartanburg. There's another one. DeZank Books, there's another one. So she started spilling out some small presses. And the crazy thing is I drove from Spartanburg to Anderson in about an hour that night, feeling energy in my body for the first time. I don't know, it just felt like something was clicking. The very next month, I'm at a writer's conference. And who is there but Jonathan Haupt, who was the executive director of the University of South Carolina Press, who is administering Story River Books, Pat's imprint. So I said to him, hey, wait a minute, so, Story River Books, right? And he goes, yeah, yeah. And I said, I've got a novel. You know how you kind of have to summon something? I've got a novel. He said, well, tell me about it. And so I did. And he said, our submission, this was April, our submission opens June 1st. And I said, okay, then you'll have it on June 1st. And he said, no. And he reached inside his coat pocket and pulled out his card. And he said, send it to me now. Don't wait for the submission process. And as I was telling you earlier, I went home and I sent it to him. And when I hit send, I had this knowing in me. Yeah. That I just had a knowing in me that I was stepping into, how my words were, that I was stepping into what had been set up for me. And I knew it. And it happened. And the fact that Pat Conroy read my book, wanted my book, blows my circuits out. I was able to thank him 5 months before he died. Actually, the weekend before he got sick. It was at his 70th birthday party. And so I'm thinking, oh, thank you. You're publishing my book, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, what's your name? And I told him, and he didn't recognize my name. He said, but what's the name of your novel? And I said, One Good Mama Bone. And he said, The Cow! And tears rolling down my face. Oh. Yes, The Cow. And so I was able to read at the Pat Conroy Literary Center last Tuesday night. And Cassandra, his wife, was there, and 3 of his siblings were there, and I just cried. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks. I tried New York. I'm a long time coming, blah, blah, blah. But to be ushered into publishing via Pat Conroy's enormous part has made all the difference in the world. I've been calling this the Mama Bone Barnstorm book tour. But I tell you right now, I need to call it the Mama Bone Love Tour. I felt so much love, and you've seen tonight. I mean, I see this. I mean, you all, thank you for coming. I've seen it, but I think it has something to do with how the book was born into publishing with Pat's spirit. It's pretty awesome.
An amazing book, really.
Thank you so much.
Tell us what happens on page 158.
So page 158, I didn't know, and so I looked at it, and I went, oh my gosh, it's a huge moment. I told you about my antagonist, Luther, and I told you about little LC, so the pressure is on for LC to perform. And so when you read the book, you'll know that Luther kind of vacillates between dark and light. He wants to be a better man. Somebody told me the other day, Luther Dobbins is always one decision away from being a better man. True?
There's a couple things in there that he does right.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Again.
So this scene right now, it's with the hammer mill. And a hammer mill is something they had way back in the day that ground your corn up. And Luther, do you know what you're nodding your head? Yeah, a hammer mill. And most people couldn't afford that, let me tell you right now. But Luther Dobbins was, a rich cattleman in Anderson, and he could afford his own cattleman. They'd have to go to the FCX to get the
He probably lived on Dobbins Bridge Road.
Yeah. And so he could grind his own, and so this is his prize thing. So he has a black man who works for him. And people have asked me about the race thing, but to be on a farm in South Carolina, I have to have this. So he has let his hand, Emmanuel, he calls uncle, go to town, so that Luther himself can be the big shot now and run the hammer mill on Saturday with his son, LC. He's thinking it's kind of a bonding moment with little LC. And so this is when this scene takes place. And Luther he wants it to be this wonderful thing, because he sees the yellow chaff going over onto LC, but it's an explosive moment. It doesn't turn out like Luther thinks, so it's pivotal in the plot of the novel. It's amazing, page 158. Yeah. It is. It's awesome. Awesome.
Well, I have one question to ask you, and then I'm going to let everybody else ask.
Okay.
Soundtrack of your life?
So, what do you mean?
Is there a song that goes for your life that you can think of? Mine is, it got big butts and it cannot lie.
Wow, an original question. Soundtrack of my life. How about Amazing Grace?
Okay, now I'm going to cry.
Amazing Grace. And I, by the way, thought you were asking about the audiobook. I did an audiobook for this. I read it myself in a studio in Nashville. And it just came out on Audible last week. And so I know that, that's Amazon, but it's also available on Librio for independent bookstores.
We have that.
Yeah,
and your voice is great. I loved you reading that.
Thank
your voice
you.
is in my head.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But I feel that story. Yes, yes, Dory.
We have been looking at a photocopy of the cover for how many weeks, Dave? So long ago, and it wasn't a great photocopy that we got, but we just kept saying, that book, that cow book, long before.
Cow book.
And to see it when when we finally got the book, and the cover just, so you told me a little bit about it. Can you share that with the group?
And I have to tell you folks, I'm in love with the cover of the book, and it's still, so in August of last year, Story River sent me an email that says book cover, and inside the email it says, okay, we've attached 4 options. Choose the one you like. And I went, oh, I'm so excited, giddy, 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 my heart's racing. I opened all 4 of them up, and they're horrible. That's not even the right word. It's worse than horrible. What is worse than horrible?
Shit.
Fabio?
Shit.
Was there a Fabio?
Yeah, it was offensive too. Offensive, that has another connotation to it. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I emailed a couple of Story River writers and I said, hey, do I have any latitude? Did you all have to do this, blah, blah, blah? And both of them said, oh, no, they give you 4. And darling, this is it. I said, no, it cannot be it. And I cried and cried. I said, no, no, no. So I spent a while crafting this wonderful email, I thought it was, and I said, and the first line was, you all know that I'm a team player. Because I had been up until that time. I'd been very easy to get along with, very compliant, blah, blah, blah. But no, we cannot do this. No. And I said, give me 30 minutes and let me get you an ultimate. And I thought, what in the world are you going to do, Bren? What in the world? But I had made tons of, you can see, photos. I like to take photos. And I just feverishly went through my computer. And because I got tons of landscapes and stuff like that, and I thought, man, I don't know what in the world. That's my daddy. That's Daddy, Martha, who had a crush on her mother. And okay, oh, there's Daddy on the front page of the paper. It was a big deal.
It's a big to do.
Yeah, it was a big to do. So I kept, and I've included it in the shot. I kept coming across this photo that I'd made of Mama Red. Now, it had a lot more real estate way out here, but it was kind of an artsy photo. Why I did it, I'll never know. But it was an artsy photo, and I just kept going, returning to it. And I said, you know, all right, let's do it. This is what I've got, because the clock's ticking. And I cropped it and sent it.
It's beautiful.
It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I heard nothing, zero. I went, okay, I'm dead. I'm just flat dead. I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. But the next morning, I get an email from the book designer, Brock, who says, can we talk? And we did. And he said, there's something there. Let me have an hour, and I'm going to send it to you along with the other people. And all he did, folks, was pop her eye out a little bit with some white and accentuate it more. And I don't know if you've seen it, but this is, did you notice there's a fly?
No.
There's a fly on the barbed wire. This is with a very good camera. There's a fly on the barbed wire. And people have told me they thought it was a painting. Have any of you ever thought it was a painting?
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Is it not?
No, it's an actual
That's the
photograph. This is actual photograph.
Well, I thought it was a painting of the photo.
No,
That's the
no,
photo, okay.
no, no, this is an actual photograph. But people have said, who did that painting? But no, it is. And so that's how it came to be. And I'm telling you, just for you, when you get there, I'm glad I went to the mat
Yeah.
for that. You know, you can't be a pain in the butt, you know, for every little something, something. But for what really matters, like this cover, oh, are you kidding me? And so within an hour, Brock had turned it around with this, and within a few minutes after, and copied me and everybody else. I mean, it was done. That's how it got.
It's beautiful.
So thank you for asking about that.
So what pictures did they send you that were just so bad?
Just a bunch of generic nothings. That's all I can tell you. That's all I need to say.
People do pick books because of the covers.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know the title's very important too. And they never messed with the title. I almost got a contract with Algonquin Books. Almost. Almost. And the
On this
editor,
one?
yeah, on this one. They kept it 8 months. And ultimately it was a turn down. But I've been contacted and I'm not gonna say they regret it, but anyway, they're gonna look at my next book. But what I'm saying is, no, not even Algonquin would have messed with that title. Only in Montalban.
What is your next book?
My next book is also based in South Carolina. I'm calling it Took, and it's, I told you I'm a former journalist, so this is what became of a failed second novel, and I didn't know what to do to fix it. So I did some research, and the Savannah River plant in South Carolina, in 1950, the federal government chose 250,000 acres in this kind of sandy, dirt-poor area between Columbia and Augusta to build the hydrogen bomb plant to go up against the Russians. Threw 3,000 people off their land, 7 little bitty, dirt-poor farming communities. Some had as little as 6 weeks, others as long as a year to get off their land. And this is 1950, when people had only farmed and had no money whatsoever and got pitiful, like $10 an acre for their land. So I did oral histories with about 40 different survivors of that time. Over half of them have died now. And so I'm crafting a novel around the most dramatic story I heard. And I'm using it as a prism through which to see the entire story. So that's my next one. And I submitted the first 50 pages to the William Faulkner Prize, and I won the gold medal. Wow. So this one's already off and running. The next one I'm writing.
I'm excited about this one too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else questions?
Didn't someone try to get you to remove the barbed wire?
Oh yes. Did you? Yeah, because
I voted no.
okay. Thank you, Jackie. So in this heat of the time, when I submitted this cover, I also did my little mini. Thank you, Jackie, for saying that. My little mini focus group. And I just put it out on Facebook, and I said, let's just say that a writer was kind of ish thinking about this for, let's say I have a friend who blah, blah, blah. And it was amazing. The response was overwhelming, except that there were people who said, yeah, but if you could remove the barbed wire. The deal about it is, it's the barbed wire, there would be no story. And that's where the conflict is. If it was just a cow. But I think the barbed wire says, you all agree with me?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's where the story is. There'd be no, right, Sue? There'd be no story if there wasn't barbed wire.
Because that part was really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it
So
does
thank
make
you for
sense.
bringing that up.
And I have another question that has
Yes.
nothing to do with your book.
Okay.
How's Linda?
She's asking about my twin sister. Here's my answer. She is a grandmother now with a little girl, Rayleigh, and she's lost her mind. And she is really good, okay? I mean, really good. I can't wait to tell her I saw you.
Tell us in what?
I will, totally.
I just have a request. Will you please come back when your next book comes out?
Are you kidding me? Darling, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there. I mean, I will always come here. I will
Her
always come
her
here.
next book is going to mention this feeling she got when she came in here,
I did.
and then all of a sudden, all these people from her past
Yeah,
came
but,
into the
but,
room.
but Joy, think about it that it was all in this area. When I walked in here this
She got
afternoon,
chills when she came.
when I came around about in this area, this really between you two, and then here comes Martha from and Bill from, and then Jackie, and it was all right in here. So definitely, gosh, I mean, count on it. Thank you,
Great. Thank you.
thank you.
So you saw ghosts that hadn't happened yet.
Mhm.
Wow, I did, didn't I?
You should be a writer.
I did, didn't I?
You did.
I love those feelings.
I love those feelings, and it kept going up this right here. They're not right now, but I've had it 3 times now,
Yeah, you
right in
have.
there.
So who's next?
I don't know. Gosh, I don't know. This is pretty awesome. I'm thank you all for your kind attention and coming out to see me on your Monday night.
Monday nights.
Thank
During
you.
basketball season.
I know, and I know that's
It's
a big
week
deal.
after time change.
I know it's a big deal. Thank you so much. Yeah, this
thank you all.
story. The other 2 books I wrote, I would not tell you that they're part of my life's destiny, my life's work. This is part of my life's work. I'm glad I came with this. I'm glad it's all perfect looking back on it. I have no regrets. I think, well, Bren, if you were just 30. Well, I'm not. And so this is how it happened, and it was perfect. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Like
much.
I said, when I got here today, I really not plan.
Oh, you know what I want to do? Yeah, I've got a 27-second video. May I play it?
Yes, please.
So Mama Red, when I met her, I made a promise that I'd tell her story. This is the real Mama Red.
Mama, Red's telling your story. We did it. Mama delivered on the promise. I know. One good mama bone. Spring of 2017. Story River Books. We did, Mama Red.
Can you believe that? That's my best.
All right, I'm a vegetarian. Anybody else? So we're gonna do birthday.
Yeah.
All right, whose birthday is coming up next? Who's yours? Liar.
April 2nd, I'm no fool.
Anybody before that?
Renee?
Would you like her to sign it? Sure. You got one of these, and page 158's on here.
Yeah. I did the Mama Bone Barnstorming book tour, and this is stop 15. So we got to get a picture with me and you on that, and
Yes.
you and me and you too, Renee. Okay?
Yes, and I'm going to buy the book, and I'd like you to autograph it, please.
Oh, honey, you know I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Of course.